Hey there, welcome to this week's episode of Uncomplicate Your Business, a weekly show where I share exactly how you can keep things simple and strategic to create success on your terms. I'm your host, Racheal Cook, a business growth strategist for women entrepreneurs. And in the last 10 years, I have been obsessed with the topic we are going to talk about today, how to burn out proof your business. This is so incredibly important to me, and I know that it is a hot topic with women entrepreneurs especially because we have so much going on in our lives. So as we get started, I'd like to hear from you. Have you ever experienced business burnout? Pop in the comments, let me know if you've ever experienced business burnout because I know I am not alone in this. And this is such an important conversation. So I'm going to share a little bit about why I'm so passionate about this topic. Because, we see all this noise out there about how you need to do all the things to grow your business. And there's a huge hustle mentality out there. We listen to the Gary V's of the world telling us, grind 18 hours a day. If you're not getting where you want to go, you just need to grind harder. I can outwork everybody. And as much as I appreciate Gary V, and I've learned quite a bit from him and entrepreneurs like him, I remember when I was starting my business, which was about 10 years ago now, and I was looking out into the world and just really frustrated because I could not see anyone like me who was running a family, raising a family, running a business, and wanted to have a beautifully full life. And it was so frustrating to me because I knew that every single thing I was listening to wasn't 100% going to fit me. All the advice I was hearing wasn't necessarily going to fit me and my life situation. And even when I was back in my traditional corporate consulting days, I remember the days where, a 12 or even a 16-hour day was the norm. I remember working 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. And at the time, because I was straight out of my MBA program, I thought, this is just the rite of passage. You have to hustle hard if you're going to succeed in this kind of corporate trajectory. If you want to become a vice president or if you want to become a, top level executive, you were going to put in those crazy hours. And what I realized very quickly a few years into that was that I was looking ahead and everybody was still running at the same pace. It was just so unsustainable. I was seeing not only signs of burnout from these people, but I was seeing people who weren't spending any time with their family and their friends. They had children, but they never really got to see them. They had spouses or significant others, and they never got to spend time with them. They never got to spend that real quality time. They were just passing like ships in the night. They never actually had things like date nights or vacations. And when I became an entrepreneur, I thought, okay, finally, I'm the boss now. I can create the rules. I can create exactly what I want my life to look like. But maybe you've experienced this. Sometimes when you have all that freedom, you default back into a unsustainable way of working. So that's exactly what happened for me. I started my business because I was burning out from the corporate world and I just knew there was a better way to do the type of work that I love, to offer business strategy to entrepreneurs and small business owners. But I was working just like I had before. So it was no wonder when I ran up against burnout again and again and again. So it wasn't for me until I got pregnant with my twins, who are now 8 years old. And I was put on bed rest and I realized, Rach, you've fallen into the same exact trap. You're going to burn out. And now that you have these babies, there's no way you can continue to work like this. Has anyone else experienced that? Because that was the aha moment when they said, I think I was about 26 weeks pregnant with the twins. And my doctor was literally saying to me, you cannot travel anymore. You cannot be more than an hour away from the hospital. So there was, I was no longer allowed to travel to see my clients. You need to be on bed rest. You're only allowed up and down your stairs one time a day. Okay, I couldn't even sit at a desk. I really had to reevaluate what was going on. Thankfully, I carried them to term, to 37 weeks, which was amazing for being a twin mom. But it was a period of deep reflection and a lot of thinking about, what am I actually trying to create here with this business? What do I want this to look like? And I realized that I wanted to have an amazing relationship with my husband. I didn't just want to have a good marriage. I wanted a great marriage. I wanted to have date nights. I wanted to be able to go on vacations with just the two of us. I wanted to be able to do the things that you really think of when you're thinking like, what would make our marriage just incredible? I wanted to actually be there for my kids. So you might not know this about me, but when I was very young, my mom was in a pretty bad car accident that left her in a coma for 3 months and in the hospital for nearly 2 years. I was only 4. I was only 4 when that happened. So I lost a huge chunk of my childhood where I wasn't with my mom. I was kind of shuttled between relatives and aunts and uncles and grandparents as everybody was trying to take care of me and my 2 younger sisters because my mom was in a hospital. I knew how precious those first years were because I missed out with them, with my own mom. And so for me, I knew that becoming a mom, I wanted to spend a lot of time with my kids. I wanted to make sure that the years before they got into, elementary school, that I had that quality time with them, those memories with them, because I knew nothing was really promised to me. And I also wanted to have the freedom to do other fun things with our life. I really had gotten the travel bug when I was young. My husband and I had lived in Brazil. We had traveled to Europe. We had more places we wanted to travel. We wanted to be able to kind of get up and go wherever and not be locked in. So I wanted to have a different life than what I had seen out there. And I didn't know how to make that happen. I didn't know how to make that happen because most of the entrepreneurs and small business owners I was surrounded by were all caught up in the hustle. They were literally chained to their desks. They were working late nights. They were going into the office on weekends and they were burning out. They were not living a meaningful life and running a meaningful business. So I can tell you, sitting where I am today, 10 years down the road, or, since my twins were born 8 years down the road, that it is possible. It's totally possible. But we have to fundamentally change some things and check in on some things in your business to make sure that you're not going to run into business burnout. Okay? So today I want to share with you 5 questions. And once you answer these questions, you'll determine if you're on the path to business burnout or if you're doing a pretty good job making sure your business is sustainable. Excuse me. I am fighting allergies, which means I have literally my cup of tea, 2 things of water, a huge other thing of tea, to make sure I can share this content with you today because it's so powerful. So if you're joining me live, I would love for you to answer these questions in the comments below and let's have a conversation about it. So the first question I want you to answer for yourself is, do you love your business? Do you love your business? And this isn't just about, do you love what you do? Because if you're like so many of my clients and my students, there's a pretty good chance you started this business because you wanted to pursue a passion. You wanted to do work that you loved. You loved teaching, or you loved coaching, or you loved helping people be their best selves, right? You loved hearing the amazing success stories and seeing your clients make a huge transformation, something that just changes their life or their health or their relationships, right? So you might be also realizing that doing what you love comes with a whole nother piece of the puzzle when you're an entrepreneur, and that's learning to love your business. So as an entrepreneur, your passion, what it is you actually do and offer and sell to people, is really only about 20% of the equation. Being an entrepreneur is about 80%. So you have to love not only what you do, your passion for what you do. You have to love the business of being in that passion. You have to love being an entrepreneur. You have to love being the person who makes the things happen. Does that feel like you're on track or off track? Okay. So you have to like running a business. You have to like being able to get the things done that you know need to happen. You like to actually build this thing that can grow. If this is something you're going to continue to work with for the next 2 or 3 years, if it's something you're ready to commit to, you have to love the business and know that going into it, it's going to take, on average, at least 2 to 3 years for your business to get to the point where it's actually steady and predictable, right? That is the average. That I know there's all the info out there about, get to 6 figures in 6 minutes, but I'm going to tell you, on average, most entrepreneurs to get to the point where they have a solid, steady business, it could take 2 to 3 years. So you need to know going into it that 80% of it is loving being an entrepreneur, loving being a business owner. And we can dig even deeper here. You might be thinking, well, I really love what I do, but I don't necessarily love the people I'm working with. Have you ever run into that where you just end up with clients who make you go, oh my gosh, this is not what I thought it would be like to do this for myself? Have you ever experienced that? I know I have had my share here and there of clients who I just really didn't enjoy working with. So if you're finding yourself saying, I don't know if I love my business, and you just take it a level deeper, is it your clients? Do you love the clients you're serving? If you're stuck here, if you're realizing you don't love your clients, then you might find that passion again, that love for your business, when you find clients you truly love. And for me, this means clients who would become friends if we weren't working together in a professional capacity. I think it's so much easier to run a business when you're surrounded by people whose company you actually enjoy and who are doing things that you're excited about. So in fact, I love my clients so much. I just actually went to a wedding of one of my clients not too long ago. And this is a client who I met in 2012 when I was pregnant with my third child, Mitchell. And we worked together. We continued to work together and continue to support each other. And, I end up going to weddings. I end up getting gifts from these clients. I end up getting invited to events and other things. I love seeing my clients grow. I love seeing the progress they're making. And honestly, they have become some of the most important relationships in my life because I care about them so, so much. So you'll find it is easier and more sustainable to run a business when you enjoy the types of clients you're working with. And you'll find yourself no longer in this transactional relationship where it's just about how much money are you going to pay me, right? It's more about how much of a transformation are you going to make and what is this journey going to look like together? What is this experience going to look like together? So when you love what you do and love your clients, that is a huge piece of the puzzle here. And the final piece of do you love your business is, are you spending your time in your zone of genius? Now, this one has a little caveat. It takes a while. It takes a little while to get to the point where you're spending more of your time in your zone of genius, especially if you're in that startup stage of business that we talked about last week, where you're the one doing all the things, right? You are the CEO, the CMO, the CFO, and the janitor. You are doing all the work on your own. So I understand that you might find yourself in areas that aren't your zone of genius. But as you grow your business, as you shift out of that startup stage into the success stage, then you need to start thinking about how you can build in some systems and get some support so you can spend more time in your zone of genius. Because that's where you provide the most value to your business, and that's where you provide the most value to your clients. So if you're not spending a lot more time in your zone of genius, you will get burned out because you're constantly trying to compensate for all these areas of weakness. If you find yourself running into a wall over and over again, fighting the same hurdles because it's just not your strength, it is a weakness, an area of weakness, then I encourage you to really look at, is there a system I can build here or somebody I can put in place here who would alleviate this so I can get back to doing what I do best, where I add the most value for myself and my clients. So again, when you love your business, you're doing what you love with people you love, and you're in your zone of genius, that is a game changer. So who here loves their business? If so, good. You've got a point here. You're doing great. Now, the next thing to burnout proof your business is to ask yourself, is your business predictably profitable? Is it predictably profitable? And this sounds simple enough. Like if the numbers don't work, if the business can't pay your bills, you just won't be in business very long. Profitability is a piece of the sustainability puzzle, right? If you want to be in your business like I have for 10 years, you have to make sure you can pay yourself. And I'm always kind of surprised when I hear from entrepreneurs who don't know their numbers, who don't know how much revenue their business generated last month. They don't know what their total annual revenues were from last year. They don't know how much it costs to run their business. Those are big red flags to me. And if you want to burnout proof your business, you have to know these numbers. And you also have to make sure that your business can support your lifestyle. This is so important. Your business needs to be able to cut you a check every single month so you can go pay your mortgage and your car payment and send the kids to school, right? Like you have to actually be able to live off of what your business is generating for you. So if you don't know what it costs to run your business or to pay yourself, you don't know what you actually need to take home, then it will always feel like you're never making enough. And it will always feel like you're in a cash crunch. This is a surefire recipe for burnout. Nothing will make you feel defeated faster than a business that can't pay your expenses. So I'm not talking about, just to be super clear here, you guys, I am in my home office. We do not live in a super fancy $1 million home out like on this crazy expensive property. No, we live a comfortable lifestyle. I don't drive a super flashy fancy car. I have a 2015 Toyota Sienna. I love my minivan, but I can pay my lifestyle. And as the sole breadwinner for my family, being able to pay that lifestyle is essential. It's so, so important. So make sure your business can cover your bills. Because if it can't, and if you don't have a real plan to make sure that it can cover your bills each and every month, both your business bills and your personal bills, you will not be in business very long. If your needs aren't getting met, you will lose the motivation to stick around long enough to the point where you can start to make any sort of upgrades in your life or your business. And honestly, if your needs aren't getting met and you find yourself getting burned out, you not only aren't getting the income I know you would like, but you're not making an impact. You're not able to make an impact with the people that you want to serve. So that's really, really important. Now, if you said to this, yes, Rach, my business is predictably profitable. I'm paying myself a decent paycheck every single month. Awesome. You get a point here too. Okay. So we're in this little 5-part checklist to ask yourself, is your business burnout proof? So by now, hopefully you have at least 1 or 2 points. And if not, you're seeing some big areas of opportunity. Now, the next question here for you is, do you have time for a life? Do you have time for a life? And this is such an important question to me because the number one reason women tell me that they started their business is for more freedom. It's for more freedom. So yes, they love their passion. They love what they're doing, but they're doing it on their own instead of finding a job in that because they want freedom. They want real freedom. They want freedom to work with the people they want to work with. They want freedom to have more time with their families. They want freedom to take a break in the middle of the day and go to a yoga class or to, shut down the laptop at 2:30 and pick up their kids from their bus stop. So are you making time for the things that matter most to you? And if you can't, if you're at a point right now where you feel like your business is just taking over your entire calendar, then chances are you're on the fast track to burnout. So you're probably working too hard. You need to stop working so much. And too often we attempt to cram in everything into our 168 hours a week instead of getting really laser focused on what is going to support our business and support our actual life. So we don't want you to get so sidetracked by your business and so caught up in your business that you forget to make a life. We also don't want your business to be designed in a way that prevents you from having a life. So your business will not be sustainable if you don't have time here. So here's what I want you to think about. Have you spent time in the last week, in the last 7 days, with the people you care most about? Have you spent quality time with the people you care most about? That could be your spouse, your partner, your boyfriend or girlfriend, your children, your best friend, a club that you enjoy, your parents, your cousin, the people you care about. Have you spent time with them in the last week? Have you made time for that? Has it been enough of a priority that in the last 7 days, you have spent at least an hour with somebody you care about? Hopefully more, but quality time, hour, not just, I saw my spouse because we crashed in bed at the same time last night, but we actually spent some quality time together. For me, what this looks like is making sure that I have date nights on the calendar with my husband. It's making sure that I have quality time with my kids. So last weekend, you might have seen on my Insta stories, I went camping with my 8-year-old daughter. I took my Girl Scout troop camping and had some real quality time with my daughter. On a monthly basis, I try to make time for one-on-one time with each of my kids so that they get that solo mama time they really want. Last week, I had lunch with a dear friend I haven't seen in a couple of months. I make it a priority to schedule these things in my calendar. Another thing that kind of goes alongside this is, when was the last time you made time for yourself? When was the last time you made time for yourself to get real rest? And I am not talking about fake rest. Women are really good at fake resting. Like if you've ever had a Sunday where you didn't have to work and sure, you were in sweatpants all day and your hair was in a, dirty, messy bun, but you were puttering around the house, like running all the laundry and folding clothes and tidying up here and tidying up there. You were not resting. You were fake resting. But if instead that Sunday was spent reading a book for an hour, going out and, going on a little hike with your family, it was spent doing something that actually gives back to you, then you've made real time for yourself. So this is just so, so, so important. You cannot serve from an empty cup. And too often I see so many women who are burning out because they are not making it a priority to refill their cup. Okay. The other thing I want to ask you here in terms of having a life is, do you know and stick to when your days off are going to be? This is so important because I know for a lot of women entrepreneurs, it's easy to try to catch up all the time on your work in the evenings or on the weekends. Okay. It's easy to sit down in the evening after the kids are in bed and say, I'm just going to work on this. I'm just going to work on that. But what tends to happen is when you have all these blurred boundaries, again, you're never giving yourself time to rest and you will run up against burnout. So do you have dedicated times off that are in your calendar and you actually take them off? Now, I do say that there are some people who have to work weekends, and I totally get that. Maybe your industry requires you to work weekends. So I know it's May right now. Wedding photographers, you guys are full on Fridays, Saturdays, sometimes Sundays. You are busy. But could you take Monday and Tuesday off after a wedding and use Monday and Tuesday as your weekend, as your rest days? So if you have to work on weekends, just make sure you're finding a day or two where you really can catch a break. So I know that life gets busy and there are seasons where you do need to hustle a little harder. Every once in a while, I will have a couple things going on and I'll need a couple hours to catch up somewhere or to get ahead, especially if it's a project where, you need to pass things off to people. But one of the things I would say is if you're finding yourself doing that too often, then it's really time to reevaluate how you're managing your schedule and how you're managing your time. Okay. So this was, do you have time for a life? Yes or no? Are you making time for your real, actual life, or is business taking over? So these are some pretty important questions for everybody to answer. And I love seeing your comments pop up around this. We've got 2 more to go. 2 more to go to make sure that your business is burnout proof. The next one is, can you grow your business without working more? Now, this might seem like a trick question, right? A lot of us, we think, the only way to grow your business is to work harder, to put in more hours. But that's actually not true. There comes a point where your calendar is maxed, and attempting to work more will cost you dearly. It will cost you burning out. So there comes a point here where you've filled your calendar with clients, you've raised your prices as high as they can go, and you could continue to grow just really small incrementally by, increasing your prices maybe 5 or 10% every year. So that would be like little tiny incremental growth. But there comes a point in most of our lives in our business where we just don't want to work as much as we have been. We want to find a way to work less and make the same or more. So if you're at this point where you're ready to grow your business, but you don't want to work harder, then you have to fundamentally change the way you've been approaching your business. You have to change the way you've been approaching what it is that you offer. So this happened for me when my husband, Jameson, who was a 7th grade English teacher for years, he decided after our 3rd child was born that he wanted to come home and be a stay-at-home dad. I was really excited. We've been talking about this for years, but it was a little nerve-wracking, right? Like, I needed to make a big jump in my personal income. I needed to pay myself more without working more hours in order to make sure that we could make up the difference in his salary and all of the benefits. I missed that insurance, but we had to make up the difference here. And that required me thinking differently. I knew I couldn't just pile on a ton of private clients. So a couple things you can ask yourself here is, can you still grow by without working more hours? Is there room to add more clients or increase prices? Is there room to add more clients or increase prices? And if not, do you need to shift the way that you're working with people, where you're working with people in a completely different way, whether it is a premium pricing option or something that is more leveraged or more passive, so that you can easily sell twice as much of it without requiring more of your time. So this has been the transition for me since about 2013. It's, making that transition from a one-on-one consultancy where I was working one-on-one with entrepreneurs and small business owners, and that was over 80% of my revenue, to shifting my focus to an online mastermind called Sweet Spot Strategy. And that's how I work with people as a group. And it allows me to serve many, many, many more people, hundreds of people more than I could if I was only able to work with 20 people a year. So that is something to consider. Can you grow your business without working more hours? And the final little caveat I'll say right now is, if you're at the point where you're considering adding in some sort of group program, an online program, something that has more leverage than what you have just working one-on-one with people, here's some other things you need to consider that will make you have to work a little more if you don't have these things buttoned up, okay? Do you have a system in place to answer their questions? More people that you're serving means more Q&A. It means more questions coming your way. It means more emails. Okay. It means a lot more support. It is easier to support just 20 one-on-one private clients than it is to support 200 in a group program. So are you able to create a system for that? Are you able to create a way to get them through the program without you actually having to personally check in or personally follow up with each and every one of them? Do you have a way to deal with their emails and manage billing challenges? Because I can guarantee there will be some of those in there. So this is really important because growth isn't just about selling more. And this is a big misunderstanding I think a lot of people make. Growing your business is not just about selling more. It's about serving more people. So you have to have the systems and the support in place in order to make sure you can continue to serve people at that same high level experience that you're currently offering, or maybe even better. So that was the question, can you grow your business without working more? Final question, and you've heard a hint of this as we have been going through these questions for you. Do you have systems and support in place in your business? So this is so incredibly important. Do you have an infrastructure in place so that your business doesn't depend on you 100% being on call? If you have to physically be there in order for your business to serve people, in order for your business to generate revenue, then you are stuck. You are trapped by your business and you will most certainly burn out. You need to make sure your business is set up so that it can run run day to day without you actually having to be in it. Why is this so important? Because things are going to happen in your life and you're going to need to be able to get up and take care of those important life things. So here's something that happened to us not too long ago. My husband's grandmother, who is now 90 years old, fell down the stairs the other year, around 4th of July. And I just remember it being 4th of July because we ended up packing up our car with just a few hours notice. We packed up our car with the kids and the dog. We drove from Richmond to Atlanta to make sure that if anything happened, because she was in the hospital with a brain bleed, that we were there. And that is something I know I can do. If somebody calls in my family and said, this happens, you need to come right now, I can be there. If one of my kids is sick, it's no problem. And that's contingency planning, right? That's making sure that all you have to do is send an email or a Slack message to one person on your team and they can make things happen. They know where you're going to be and they can keep up with the day-to-day. And they can keep up with the day-to-day for you because you're not flying by the seat of your pants. You've actually got a system in place. You've got a plan the team is implementing on. You've got people handling the day-to-day. So my people can answer our emails. If you've ever emailed us, then you've chatted with Lane. If you've messaged us on social media, you've probably chatted with Lane or Amber. If you had a billing challenge and you're a student of mine, a client of mine, then they took care of it. And we have members on the team who can support the business. So I don't have to worry about if I need to handle something in my life that my business is just going to fall apart because we've set it up to be sustainable. We've set it up for some things to go wrong and things to happen. And I don't have to be the only one there to make sure that things are running smoothly. So do you have the systems and support that you need? So if you had to, and this is the test, this is the litmus test. If you had to get up today and leave your business for a week or 2 weeks, would you be able to do it without your business falling apart? That is my litmus test to say, do you have systems and support in your business? So when I see people who don't go into business with this mindset, this sustainability mindset, they tend to run themselves into the ground very, very quickly. They tend to burn out very, very quickly because they're not making sure that their business is fundamentally designed to truly support both a thriving business, but a real life. So let's recap these 5 big questions. And I want you guys to tell me how many of these you are okay with. So the first, do you love your business? Do you love your clients? Do you love where you're spending your time and energy each and every day? Are you in your zone of genius? If yes, awesome. Give me a thumbs up here. And if not, we need to figure out how you can shift so you can do more of what you're best at, or so you can work with more of the clients you actually like. Next, is your business profitable? Okay. Are your personal needs met? Are you able to pay for your living in a way that, in the lifestyle that you would like, at least a comfortable lifestyle, because nothing will grind you down faster than worrying about the money all the time. Third, do you have a life? Do you have time for the things that matter most to you? Whether it is getting a walk every single morning or spending time with your kids or going on vacations, like, do you have time for a life? Do you have time for hobbies? Do you have time for spending with people you actually care about? Fourth, can you grow your business without working more? if you've gotten to the point where your business has hit a ceiling on how much you can grow, like your calendar is maxed out, you're at the top of your price range, it is time to redesign your business so that you can continue to grow without working more. You cannot do what you have done. If your calendar is maxed and your prices are already at the high point of a price range, time for a business redesign. And finally, do you have real systems and support in place? If you had an emergency show up in your life and you needed to get up and go right now and leave things for the next week or 2 weeks, would you be able to? Do you have systems in place? Do you have somebody who's got your back, who can make sure the emails are answered and the invoices are paid? If not, you need to button the back end of your business up a little bit more and get things figured out. So if you went through all 5 of those questions and you're thinking, okay, I'm in a pretty good place, I think I'm good on all 5 of these questions, then you, my friend, are awesome. You're just kicking butt and taking names, and I absolutely love that. So if that is you, you answered, yes, I've got all of these under control, then you are doing amazing, and your focus now is going to be continuing to balance the art of growing your business while still living your dream lifestyle. Now, if you only had maybe 3 or 4 you felt good about, then your business is doing okay. It's not too bad. You might have some areas to work on, and this hopefully highlighted an area or 2 that you need to really make a priority. So with a little TLC, a little bit of strategy, your business will start to become more sustainable and it will start to take care of you better. Your focus right now is to spend some time with those questions that you answered, I don't have this in place yet. If you did that to any of these questions, you need to go back and turn them into a yes. So if you're listening to all these questions and to today's show and you're thinking, okay, I couldn't really answer yes to any of these, I am realizing that I'm not on the right track here. Well, your business just is not that into you right now. Your business needs some love and attention. You need to look at these questions. You need to really map out a strategy to make your business more sustainable and turn it into a business that will truly love you back, a business that will take care of you for the long haul. So if you know you need some extra support with this, then I want you to go and check out my masterclass, 3 Essential Strategies to Design a Predictably Profitable Business. You can get this absolutely free training at yoursweetspotstrategy.com. And this is where I'm going to walk you through how you can start shifting some of those no's to yeses by implementing systems and strategies that make a huge difference in your business. So I hope this helped you today. I can't wait to jump back in and answer any of your comments and questions. But let me know in the comments below, how are you doing here? How was this check-in with your business? Are you realizing you have some areas to work on, or do you feel like you've got things under control? I'd love to hear from you. We've got a lot more coming up this month. This month has been all about the path to predictable profits, and I'm showing up twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays to share additional insights with you to help you get to those predictable 5, 10, and 15K months. So make sure you let me know how you're doing with the series, if you're enjoying the series, because I can't wait to jump in again on Tuesday with the next segment. Okay, take care, and I hope you have a great, great week.